All right, please be seated. And it will be okay if the eyes are clear, please. Please be seated, except you are an usher or a security personnel. At this moment, may we please stand up to observe the national anthem. Thank you very much. This morning, it gives me immense pleasure to introduce to you a leading light in the realm of university governance, an example of what leadership should be, our father, a well-collected and calculated human being, the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Governing Council of the Great University of Abuja, distinguished Senator, Dr. Olarewaju Teju-Osho. Give it up to him, please. So I'm sure it feels great to see your children in this large number. Please celebrate grace. It's also my pleasure this morning to introduce to you a gentleman to the core, soft-spoken, and a man gifted with spontaneous intelligence. He doesn't need to go home to bring answer. The answer is right there, and the answer is logical and correct. The Vice Chancellor of this great university, Professor Babatunde Hakeem Fawahimi. And it's also my pleasure to introduce to you the Acting Registrar and Secretary to the Governing Council of the University, Malam Sambo Muhammad. And of course, an expert in forensic accounting and fiscal management, the boss of the University of Abuja, Madam Shivare Kondon. It's also my pleasure to introduce a very unique and special National Council of Climate Change, who also happens to be our guest lecturer for today, Dr. Otelioyi Makekodumi. Please give it up to her. So you can see that she looks like one of our students. Please celebrate her once again. And I also like to introduce to you the Conservator General of the National Park, who is here being ably represented by Mr. Abdurrahman Mohammed. And of course, we also have the representative of the Director General of National Agency for Green Great Wall, NAGGW, who is here represented by Dr. Suleiman Abubakar. In due course, we'll certainly be recognizing everyone, but just for the purpose of time management, I want to appreciate everybody that is here. Council member, if I permit me to recognize the presence of Professor Ejairo, Professor Sunday Ejairo, an internal member of the Governing Council of the university. And of course, the Dean of the Faculty of Law, who has been our landlord since yesterday and will continue to be our landlord, I think tomorrow, Professor Owakwe Abugu. And Professor Otaki Alanana, the Director of Academic Planning Unit. And of course, my own mother, your own mother, the beautiful wife of our Vice Chancellor, Mrs. Fawahimi, is also around. Professor Ndana. And I also like to quickly recognize the presence of Professor L. Popova, a professor of economics. In due course, we'll be hearing from her. Please just permit me to just hit the ground running at this moment. At this moment, I'll just simply invite the Vice Chancellor to the microphone for his welcome address. Give it up to the Vice Chancellor, please.
The Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Governing Council of the University of Abuja, now Yakubu Gowon University, distinguished Senator Dr. Lanrewaju Tejuosho, our guest speaker for today, who is also the Director General of the National Council for Climate Change, Dr. Majekodumi. You're welcome. The representative of the Conservator General of the National Park, here present, the representative of the National Agency of the Green Great Wall, here present, the Registrar and Secretary to Governing Council, Malam Sambu Muhammad, the Bossa of the University, Madam Chivare Kondon, Council member here present, Professor Sunday Ejaru, the Dean of the Faculty of Law, my good friend, Professor Wakwe Abugu, the Director of Academic Planning, Professor Alanana, Director of the Dean of Students Affairs, Professor Aja, Professor, our guest lecturer for today from the Russian Federation. You're welcome, Madam. My dear wife and the trustee to the University of Abuja Women Association, Dr. Mrs. Hadizat Fawahimi, the President of the University of Abuja Women Association, Professor Ndana. I can also see the former Chairman of the Senate Business Committee, Professor Omar, Professor Dr. Medina, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our dear students, gentlemen of the press. I must say that we are very happy today to receive this lecture. We know that one of the contemporary issues plaguing the global community is the issue of climate change. And today we want to talk about how tree planting can help to mitigate the effects, negative effects of climate change, which of course is part of the Sustainable Development Goals. And we are happy to have in our midst today no other person than the Director General of the National Commission for Climate Change, herself, the best person, the arrowhead for climate change and how to prevent it in Nigeria, Dr. Maje Kodumi, to give us a talk on how tree planting, how the changes, and of course, we all know carbon dioxide to oxygen and so on, could mitigate the effects of climate change. So I want to welcome you all, our dear students. It is a topic that is very topical, very contemporary. I want you to listen with rapt attention. I want you to pay attention and make the best out of this lecture. On that note, I want to once again welcome you all to this gathering and wish us the very best for the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
I think you can do better than that for the Vice Chancellor, please. Before I go to the next item, I'd like to recognize the presence of all members of Senate here, all professors, all directors, all heads of departments, heads of units, and members of management, and of course, our great students. Welcome once again. This is the 5 My sincere apologies. All right. I was going to tell you that if you have been following events within the past couple of days, you will see that a lot of activities have been lined up as part of the 29th and 30th convocations of the university. So there is no room for much ceremony. So we just make sure that we wrap up everything in quick succession. Having said that, it's now my pleasure to invite to the microphone Dr. Agbama Awaritoma to say the citation, read the citation of our guest lecturer for today. Please let me put your hands together as he makes his way to the microphone.
Thank you very much. My name is Agoma Awaritoma. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, our invited guests, students, ladies and gentlemen, this is the citation for our distinguished lecturer for today, Dr. Omotenioye Maje Kodumi. Tenioye Maje Kodumi is a UK-trained environmental lawyer and climate finance specialist with over 2 decades of leadership across climate governance, carbon markets, renewable energy, and sustainable finance. She is the Director General of the National Council on Climate Change, NCCC, under the presidency, a role she assumed in August 2025. Ma'am, may I ask you to please stand? Thank you very much. So, I would go back again if you don't mind, just one paragraph. Thank you. Dr. Tenioye Maje Kodumi is a UK-trained environmental lawyer and climate finance specialist with over 2 decades of leadership across climate governance, carbon markets, renewable energy, and sustainable finance. She is the Director General of the National Council on Climate Change, NCCC, under the presidency, a role she assumed in August 2025. The NCCC, established under the Climate Change Act of 2021, is Nigeria's first highest statutory body on climate governance and is chaired by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In this capacity, she provides strategic leadership on national climate policy, climate finance frameworks, and international climate negotiations. She also leads Nigeria's engagement as the country's designated national authority, DNA, and focal point to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, ensuring alignment between development priorities and global climate commitments. A recognized figure in Nigeria's climate sector, Tenyoye previously served as financial advisor to the NCCC and has played a consistent role in shaping Nigeria's climate positions over the years. Her contributions include input into the UNFCCC Copenhagen draft in 2009, as well as Nigeria's first and second national communications. She is a member of the African Group of Negotiators, AGN, for COP29, contributing across the finance, loss and damage, and Article 6 negotiation tracks. Tenyoye has held senior advisory technical roles with several international and national institutions, including the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, under the Partnership for Agile Governance and Climate Engagement, PACE, the Nigerian Infrastructure Advisory Facility, NIAF, and the United Nations She Trades Program. Through these roles, she has contributed to landmark climate change legislation at both state and national levels, designed innovative green and climate finance mechanisms, and advanced gender-inclusive climate and economic policies. She holds an LLM from the University of Warwick with specialization in international cooperation, corporate governance, and carbon finance, and is a certified ESG expert. In recognition of her exceptional leadership in shaping national climate governance frameworks, strengthening institutional systems, and influencing public policy at the highest levels of government and international engagement, she was conferred an honorary doctorate in public policy, DPP, reflecting the strength, strategic depth, policy influence, and national significance of her work. She trained at the prestigious FRA Williams Chambers and previously served as Executive Director of ENSOL, Environmental Solutions Limited, where she established a government-recognized Center of Excellence on Climate Change. A member of the Nigerian Bar Association and the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, Tenyoye sits on several interministerial committees, including those on climate change and biofuels, and serves on multiple boards and technical working groups advancing climate policy, sustainable finance, and just transition pathways across Africa and globally. She is a strong advocate for equity, impact, and capacity building, and actively mentors young professionals in ESG and climate leadership in support of a low-carbon, climate-resilient future. Your Excellencies, eminent personalities, consummate scholars, and academics here present, affable staff, and esteemed students of the University of Abuja, gentlemen of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with a very resounding round of applause, help me welcome to the microphone an accomplished lawyer, climate finance specialist, and the Director General of the National Council on Climate Change, Dr. Tenyoye Majekodimi. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I need something louder. I need something louder. That's more like it. I'm going to stand on all existing protocols, but before I do that, Pro Vice Chancellor, please excuse me if I do not get the orders, but I'm standing on all existing protocol, registrar, bursar, and all distinguished guests that are here. I want to just greet you properly with a very, very warm good morning, sirs and ma'as. Distinguished members of Council and Senate, esteemed faculty members, proud families, and most importantly, the graduating class, I say a very good morning to you all. I know you are all surprised to see me here. I think I was hoping to hide behind the MC's very generous words of how youthful I look. But the citation has obviously exposed me to an extent that my youthful exuberance, a youthful elixir that I put on my face has now been exposed. But we move on as we say. So I want to just, before I start, say a good thank you. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to have experienced the tree planting exercise outside. It was so warm and nice to be able to be a part of that. So I want to say a big thank you again for bringing me in for that. Because it is really such a great idea, a great phenomenon to be able to start from that end and then come into the lecture to talk about the other aspects that could be generated from tree planting and even just from being cleaner. And that today, ladies and gentlemen, is about carbon credits, which is what my lecture is about today. So without further ado, and because of the time, I will just go straight into what I had prepared in here for you. Today's theme is carbon credits from tree planting, opportunities and challenges for Nigeria's climate goals. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it is both an honor and a profound responsibility to stand before you all today at this historic convocation ceremony of the University of Abuja. This is not just a ceremony, but it is a crossroad. Today is not only about gowns, degrees, and applause. It is about timing. And we are celebrating not just academic excellence, but the emergence of a generation that will help define Nigeria's response to one of the greatest tests of our time, climate change. So the real question before us is no longer, what did you study? It is also, what will you build in a world that urgently needs fixing? Let me begin with a simple story. A tree stands quietly, no noise, no headlines, no trending hashtags. Yet that tree pulls carbon out of the air, holds the soil together, helps call back the rain, cools the land, shelters biodiversity, and sustains both people and possibility. Now, imagine that same tree not only restoring the land, but also creating measurable economic value. That is where the idea of carbon credits comes in. At its core, a carbon credit represents a measurable reduction or removal of GHG, which is greenhouse gas emissions. Trees do this through carbon sequestration, absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and storing it in biomass and soil. But when trees are planted, protected, and sustained, that carbon removal can be measured, verified, and converted into carbon credits. Those credits can then be traded in the carbon markets, creating a pathway through which environmental restoration can attract finance. And that is why this conversation today matters. Because for Nigeria, tree planting is no longer an environmental gesture. It can become a development strategy. It can support climate action, restore degraded land, create jobs, strengthen resilience, and open access to climate finance. So Nigeria is not starting from zero. We have degraded lands in need of restoration. We have ecological zones that can benefit from afforestation, agroforestry, mangrove restoration, and shelter belt expansion. We have a large youth population capable of driving innovation and green jobs. We have communities ready to engage. We have national climate priorities, and we now have stronger momentum to build a credible carbon market ecosystem. But let me be clear. The world does not reward potential. I'll say it again. The world does not reward potential. It rewards credibility. It rewards credibility. And this is where many countries get it wrong. They assume planting trees is enough. It is not. The future will belong to countries that can measure carbon precisely, govern projects properly, verify results transparently, protect communities fairly, and integrate and bring integrity to the market. That is how you move from simply planting trees to building a credible carbon economy. And so, when you think about it, what then are the opportunities before Nigeria? And the opportunities for Nigeria are significant. First, tree-based carbon projects can unlock climate finance at scale. For too long, developing countries have had bankable climate needs, but insufficient access to finance. Carbon finance can help bridge part of that gap, especially where restoration projects generate measurable outcomes. It can attract investments into forests, farms, watersheds, mangroves, and degraded landscapes. Secondly, tree planting can become a tool for rural economic revitalization. Done properly, these projects create jobs in seedling production, nursery development, planting, monitoring, extension services, forest maintenance, data gathering, verification support, and digital environmental services. I hope you have all been listening to those last things I said, because these are all potential jobs that would all be coming out before you all know it in this new world wave that we have entered into. So this means climate action can become a source of local enterprise, not just international negotiations. Thirdly, Nigeria can build a competitive advantage in nature-based solutions. In a world increasingly looking for high-integrity credits, countries that can produce credible credits from agriculture, forestry, and land use activities can position themselves strategically. This is not just about selling credits, it is about entering the future of green trade, ladies and gentlemen, and sustainable investments. Fourth, tree planting can support food systems and resilience, especially where we link it to agroforestry. Trees on farms can improve soil health, reduce erosion, and many, many more things. And in that sense, climate action and agricultural productivity do not have to be in conflict, which is one of the issues that we're dealing with today. If you go to the north, you see a lot of that happening. And so we need to tap into that. Because where some people are seeing problems, we are seeing opportunities. And that's the mindset we need to all have today. Fourth and fifth, Nigeria can build a new generation of climate careers and businesses. The carbon economy is creating professions that barely existed a few years ago. Jobs such as carbon analysts, MRV specialists, climate financiers, project developers, GIS experts, environmental lawyers, registry managers, nature tech innovators. These are all potential jobs you can all start looking into and start researching. If I were you, that's what I'll be doing, so that I can always be ahead of the curve. Sixth, subnational government. Governments can become major actors in this space. And by subnational, I mean the states. States can develop restoration pipelines, identify degraded landscapes, build investable projects, and integrate carbon opportunities into broader land use and development planning. This can bring climate action closer to communities and, more importantly, closer to implementation, because we all know implementation is key. Seventh and the last, in terms of the opportunities, Nigeria can use tree-based carbon projects to strengthen both environmental and diplomatic positioning. Countries that build credible climate systems are better able to attract partnerships, negotiate from a position of seriousness, and shape the future of emerging carbon markets rather than simply reacting to them. But there is a danger in the single story. And the single story says, plant trees, earn money, save the planet. It is appealing, it is simple, it is marketable, but it is incomplete. Because not all tree planting projects are good projects. Not all carbon credits are high quality, and not all markets are fair. Not all communities will benefit, and not every environmental promise survives first contact with weak governance. So if Nigeria is to lead in this space, we must do so with clarity, discipline, and integrity. And so the challenges Nigeria must confront, we have identified another 7. The first, credibility, as I mentioned earlier, and measurement. Carbon credits are only valuable if the carbon they represent is real, measurable, and independently verified. Those 3. Weak measurement, weak reporting, and weak verification systems is what destroys trust. And remember I said earlier, credibility is key. And to build credibility, you must have trust. So if we cannot adequately measure sequestration, monitor survival rates, and verify additionality, and maintain this transparent reporting, our credits will struggle in serious markets. And as I like to always point out, the first point of noting the challenges is already the beginning of your success. So once we're able to note what our challenges are, we know that we are on the right foot and we're on the right drive to success. Secondly is land tenure and community rights. This is one of the most important issues Nigerians must confront. Tree projects often sit on land shaped by customary tenure, community use, overlapping rights, and local livelihoods. If land ownership is unclear, or if communities are excluded from consent and benefit sharing, then what should be a climate solution can quickly become a governance problem. Third is permanence. A tree planted is not a credit secured forever. Trees can die. Forests can burn. Land can be cleared. I know as I say that, it resonates with our advice in terms of all what is going on. Drought can reverse gains. So permanence is a real challenge. Carbon stored in trees must remain stored long enough to justify the claim being sold to the market. Fourth, quality versus quantity. This is one of my favorites. Nigeria must resist the temptation to pursue headline numbers over real outcomes. The question is not simply how many trees were planted. The question is how many survived. Where they were planted, whether the species were appropriate, whether ecosystems were respected, whether communities were involved, and whether the project generated credible climate and development value. Fifth, greenwashing. How many of you know what greenwashing means? Let's see your hands up. Greenwashing. Okay, I see a few hands. The world is increasingly cautious about overstated environmental claims. If Nigeria allows low-quality projects, inflated claims, or weak oversight, we risk reputational damage. Integrity must matter more than volume. A smaller number of trusted credits is better than a large volume of questionable ones. Sixth, financing the pipeline. Many tree planting and restoration projects require upfront investment long before credits are issued or revenue is realized. That means projects can fail, not because they lack environmental value, but because they lack early stage finance, technical preparation, and risk sharing mechanisms. And so these are things that we must have at the back of our minds before we embark on this, and even just to help to shape and guide the way we want to move. Seventh and last is institutional coordination. Carbon markets do not sit neatly in one box. They touch on environment, finance, agric, justice, technology, land administration, and subnational governance. Without coordination, projects slow down. Standards become inconsistent, and confidence weakens. Another is the domestic capacity. Nigeria still needs more trained professionals. And that's why I'm so excited to be here amongst, in your midst. Because this is the training ground where we will be starting this. This is where it all emanates from. To be able to train more professionals, it will start from our academia. It needs to go back to the source. To be able to come up with carbon accountants, forest monitoring experts, environmental lawyers, remote sensing, project financiers, safeguard design and registry systems. Without domestic expertise, we will remain consumers of external systems rather than architects of our own markets. And so it's important we have this at the back of our minds to learn to be the architects of our own market. So what must Nigeria do next? I'm saying this so that you can all start letting it percolate in your minds. Start thinking about it as I move on to the last and final part of my speech. Last bit. What must we do next? First, we must build integrity into the system from start. Nigeria must insist that every project claiming to generate carbon credits must meet high standard of measurement, verification, transparency, and accountability. Trust is the currency of the carbon market. I'm going to say that again. Trust is the currency of the carbon market. Secondly, develop strong land and community frameworks. Communities must not be treated as an afterthought. They must be consulted meaningfully, protected fairly, and included in benefit sharing arrangements. Carbon markets cannot succeed sustainably where justice is absent. Third, invest in national MRV and registry infrastructure. We need digital systems. Thank God for AI. We're all enjoying the benefits of it and seeing the benefits of it. These same digital systems, data architecture, geospatial capacity, and traceability mechanisms, these are what will make Nigerian credits credible, both domestically and internationally. And now with things like blockchain technology, you can't change it. Once it's in there, it's done. That further enhances and improves the integrity. Just I think 3 months ago, Zimbabwe, they worked on improving the integrity of their credits by using blockchain technology. In 1 month alone, they were able to see a 99% increase of carbon credits that was generated in country. Their credits were selling for, I think, 12, and in 1 month, it went up to $59. So you can imagine, for just 1 metric cubic ton. So trust is key. Trust is the currency. Fourth, create a project pipeline, not just policy documents. We must move from framework to execution by identifying real restoration opportunities, structuring investable projects, supporting early stage development, and de-risking promising initiatives. Fifth, link tree planting to broader national priorities. Restoration should not sit in isolation. It should connect to food security, watershed protection, erosion control, biodiversity, livelihoods, subnational development planning. The strongest projects will be those that solve multiple problems at once. I love to say, I throw one stone and it kills many birds. That is the future that we are all moving into. Because as we all see, there's a global crisis. So the more efficient we can become in our solutions, the better it is for us. Sixth, build local capacity aggressively. Universities, research institutions, private firms, and public agencies must all contribute to developing Nigerian expertise in carbon markets. For Twitter's sake, at the National Council on Climate Change, we've just launched a framework, and we've opened up the market since I took office. And these are the ways that we're doing that, to be able to make sure, as regulators of the country, we've opened up the markets to make the playing ground a lot easier, so that a lot more projects can start coming out of Nigeria, and we can officially be the leader of the pack for West Africa, because that is who we are. And so we need more homegrown excellence in science, finance, law, technology, and policy to be able to work for a whole holistic approach. Seventh, prioritize high-quality, nature-based solutions. Nigeria should not aim to flood the market with credits. We should aim to become known for credits that are credible, traceable, community-conscious, and environmentally sound. Eighth, position young Nigerians at the center of the green economy. I want you all to repeat that after me. Position young Nigerians at the center of the green economy. The people graduating today should not see climate only as a risk. They should see it as a field of leadership, innovation, and enterprise. As I say that, I remember I did my master's in this. After working in a law firm for several years, I went back and did my master's, and I wanted it to be on this because nobody was talking about it. And it all started from just an Economist article. Who knows The Economist here? The Economist is a magazine. Well, go and look for it and read it. Because from one magazine article, I read it and I thought, my goodness, my mind changed, everything changed. From being just a barrister and going to court 4 days a week, to thinking, what am I going to specialize in? Reading the article opened my mind and seeing how there was an untapped market in here. So I went back and embarked on a master's. I took a leave of absence from my job, and they thought I was all crazy. Everybody thought, this is so futuristic, why? And that was 2006. This is 2026 now, 20 years later. Who's laughing now? No? We all are. We're where Nigeria is going. So I want to use that analogy to inspire you all here today. You are the future of Nigeria's generation. Do not be disenfranchised. Do not think negatively. There's so much out there, but just always remember who you are. And there's always another way. Stay focused, keep going, and be consistent. If there's one thing I have learned, it's that consistency is the name of the game. And so I want to wrap up my speech. To the graduates, let me now speak directly to you, the graduating class. You are not just the future, just as I said, you are the builders of the present. The carbon economy will not be built by speeches alone. It will be built by your ideas, your startups, your research, your tools, your courage to solve problems, and your discipline to deliver. So let us upgrade the narrative. Not simply go and plant trees, but go and build systems that makes trees valuable, credible, and transformative. Because the real transformation is not ecological alone. It is economic, institutional, and generational. And more importantly, when that is done right, forests become assets. Communities become stakeholders. Sustainability becomes investable. Climate action becomes a source of jobs, trust, and national value. So whether you are trained in science, law, economics, finance, engineering, technology, agriculture, humanities, remember, there is a place for you in this emerging field. So be bold enough to question. Be skilled enough to build. Be disciplined enough to deliver. Let me now close with this. Plant trees, yes, but more importantly, build trust, build systems, build value. Because if we get this right, and I'm going to change that to since we have gotten this right, I'm speaking positively. Nigeria will not simply participate in the carbon market, but it can help to shape it. And when history looks back at this generation, let it say they did not inherit a changing world and stand still. They built the institutions, the markets, the science, and the courage to transform it. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to the graduating class. Remember, Nigeria is counting on all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think you can do better than that. Thank you. You may be seated, please. When I was introducing you, madam, in just a short while, you would have the opportunity to interact with madam by way of questions and observations. But I was going to tell madam, when I was introducing you, I was also looking at the audience. Somebody felt that I shouldn't have said what I said, that your stature is not in alignment with your status. But you have just proven that what I said is just the right thing. Please let me appreciate madam once again. I do know that a lot of people graduate. Many years after graduation, they get to realize the values of what they were taught in the classrooms. And unfortunately, most times, it gets too late. But knowing that, I want to plead with the organizers, particularly the Convocation Committee, to get the soft copy of what Madam has read, and then make them available via the university email platform. If that's okay by you, can you put your hands together for that? Thank you. Before we go into the question and answer session, I'd like to quickly recognize the presence of Professor Julius Aja, the newest Dean, Student Affairs, and his deputy, Dr. Agbonu Olua. Thank you. And also, I'd like to recognize, of course, especially actually, Professor Lanre Aladeito, Chairman, Convocation Committee. I saw him around just, okay. And permit me, Dr. Habib Yakub, Director, Information, University of Abuja. Now, at this moment, may I ask, Mr. Chairman, sir, we are in the session of question and answer now, but we need to regulate it. How many people, how many questions do you think we should take so that no, wait. Okay, I told you. And the chairman. Okay, sir. Okay, I told you that the chairman is a father indeed. What he has just done is to create gender equilibrium. 2 female, 2 male, and of course, himself being our father. So please help me appreciate him with a warm round of applause. Okay, so we take 2 questions. This lecture is mainly for students because I saw that it provides opportunities for career choices for the young ones. Many of us here, we are approaching the pinnacle of our careers. So we should give the platform for the young ones. So if you permit me, I will concentrate on the students more than, thank you, please apologies. Okay, yes. Please, when you take the microphone, you tell us your name, you tell us your level, you tell us your department, and go straight to the point. And don't repeat any question that has been asked. Make it precise, make it concise, and straight to the point. Yes, one. Who is giving the microphone? Okay, just calm down. I know you are a student. Okay, two. All right, one other girl. Okay. All right. And then who else? One, two. Okay, please, for the purpose of equilibrium, for the purpose of justice, since this we have three sets of seating arrangement here, let's just take one, 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 then I use my discretion. So we have taken one here. You are already here. Okay, we've taken one there. Okay, can I get one here? One male. Okay, nobody has any question here. Okay. You are reluctant. I hope you have a question. All right, thank you. Okay, so, young lady, please let me give the microphone to her. Please, your name, your level, your department, and straight to the question.
Afternoon, ma. Hello, good afternoon, ma. Distinguished professors, the Pro Vice Chancellor, my name is Peace Edwins. I recently graduated from the Department of Geography and Environment. Good afternoon. I recently graduated from the Department of Geography and Environmental Management, and I am currently building skills in carbon accounting, ESG, and sustainability reporting. My question, ma, is what practical pathways would you recommend for young professionals trying to break into ESG and climate-related roles in Nigeria, especially given the limited entry role opportunities? And also if the National Council on Climate Change have any structured programs supporting early career professionals in the field.
Good afternoon, Professor and everyone in attendance. My own name is Oluwatosin Tiowe. I'm also a PhD graduate. My question for carbon credit climate finance, it's kind of a very new sector. I put some things down here. There's biomass estimation, carbon modeling, MRV, system design, VVB, so many items, so many components of this particular sector. My question to NCCC is, what's the plan in terms of training and capacity building, maybe for universities, research institutions, and for that sector to help develop that sector very fast, because our neighbors in Africa, Kenya, Zambia, and so on and so forth, they are actually moving with speed. Thank you.
Good afternoon, all protocols duly observed. My name is Abulu Paul Grace, a 200 level journalism and media studies student. So my question is, I'm going to just paraphrase something you said. You noted that the climate change, it starts with the academia, it starts with the schools. So I want to know if there's any way, is there any suggestion you have or any initiative that the University of Abuja can start so that we young students can actually join this climate change, we can bring these goals to life? Is there any initiative or any suggestion you can help us with?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bitrus Alikali Ruben. I am a first year nursing student here. My question is, how is Nigerian government balancing urbanization and tree planting? Because see the government encourage urbanization, but they keep encouraging deforestation. So how do Nigerian government balance that?
Thank you. Can I have the microphone, please? Mr. Chairman, sir, may I bring the microphone for your question? So that's okay.
Thank you. The question, Madam, the federal government has been preparing all Nigeria universities for being financially autonomous, which means that we have to look inwards and outwards, but now we start generating more income ourselves. And we, as University of Abuja, Yakubu Gowon University, we have a solar power village that is generating more than 3 megawatts of power. We are supposed to be generating carbon credits. We are supposed to be making good money from the investment given to us by the federal government. But Bossa, I don't think we are making any kobo from this. And we have been using this equipment for many years now. We have all the trees that you are talking about. So who is in charge of our environment, first of all? Who's the head of the environment? Because they are supposed to be the ones driving these carbon credits. Is he here? Professor Jaru? I'm sorry for taking you out. But anyway, the students, one student asked about how they can be involved. So I think we should try to, I want you to pledge that you will nurture our department. Yes, for you to now nurture us to begin to make carbon credits. Because carbon credits means money for people that don't understand. So, and it is in dollars, foreign exchange. And we have it all around us here. We are doing nothing about it. We are growing trees, but we don't know the financial benefits of what we are doing. We need from first principles. I mean, it's just a few people that can understand what you said today. In terms of when you say carbon credits, they need more explanation. We don't assume. Maybe Professor Ejaro, get some interested students to join you just for the commercial aspect of the environment. We need it desperately. And she has agreed to adopt us and nurture us until she will set us free once the money starts coming in. So Professor Ejaro, you are now in charge of that money making, carbon credit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Pro Vice Chancellor, sir. Thank you, sir, for roping me in that way. I liked it. Well, I'm very impressed by the amount of questions and even the quality of the questions I just received. It shows that I have some amazing, bright students within our midst. So please give yourselves a round of applause first for that. Secondly, I am glad that the Pro Vice Chancellor made some valid points as to the intricacies of my speech or lecture. And the reason it was done deliberately is to start making everyone's mind. I also was planting trees too, but in my words. So I've planted some seeds in all of your minds today by giving you a starting point to kickstart the curiosity and make you all go out and research some more and do some more digging and reading and researching. Because to be honest, anything that is going to generate income and some kind of value is the best way to get people to start thinking about climate. And so I was very happy to see a lot of lecturers in here today from all fields because climate cuts across, as I mentioned in my lecture. So without further ado, I'll go into the questions. I'll start with the first one, or maybe I go backwards. I'll start with the last, then I'll go to the first. Regarding the Pro Vice Chancellors, I have pledged and I'm thankful and I am happy to definitely lean on your pledge and also provide any kind of support we can in terms of capacity building and to be able to support the academia. Because as I said in my speech, this is the beginning. This is where it comes from. This is the gateway to be able to generate our own currency in this new innovative sphere that we have all coming to. So that one is done. Now, going back to the first question from the geography student. I hear you. Practical pathways for ESG and carbon accounting to support. There are loads of ways. Just last year at Belém, which is in Brazil, that was the UNFCCC COP conference. Nigeria had a very big, every year we are there, and as the DG of the National Council on Climate Change, I also double up as the focal point to the UNFCCC for Nigeria, and which is the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. And that's the body that governs the carbon credits, where the money comes from, basically. So the UNFCCC, to be able to make people understand, they have an annual conference every year, and it's called COP, Conference of the Parties. And it means all the countries that have signed to the treaty of the UNFCCC, which Nigeria is a member of, they all go in and meet at this COP conference at the end of the year. And so last year, it was in Brazil, Belém. And every year, as Nigeria being a treaty and leading the pact for West Africa, we always have a big pavilion there. So within our pavilion, we were able to launch something for the youths, which is going to what question 1 and 2 were asking, capacity building. So we launched our NCCC Youth Innovation Incubator. And that is to be able to help youths to start understanding the language, the technicalities, and the carbon jargon that is involved in this sector. And so, as a quick and direct person that I have demonstrated myself to be, we'll connect you with one of our office. There are about 3 from National Council on Climate Change here that will connect you with our youth desk. And they will be able to pinpoint you and give you access. It's all digital, so that you can continue your readings, your learnings, because that's the fastest way. Thank God for AI, as I've been saying, because that makes it at the beauty and at the handhold of your palm, your phone. You can access all this information, start knowing and understanding and building your capacity. Because as I said, this is our currency. Trust is the new currency. Regarding the gentleman's second question on biomass, so many sections under climate change. I hear you, I feel you, and I'm with you on that. We used to say that in the beginning, this is just, it's a labyrinth. You enter thinking it's something simple, then you now realize, oh my God, the jargon. So we designed something called the carbon jargon. And it's like a dictionary of all the words, all the sections. That helps you. We've gone further now by putting that digitally online to be able to help people understand the jargon of carbon. And so the sectors are many. But once you understand it, you get it right, it's smooth sailing after that. And these are all things that you can all find within our incubator that we have launched. The third question goes to 200 level students. Starting online courses to start small. How do we, okay, your question was how do we put all this together as a student in university? My response to you is to start with the online courses. It's right there at your feet. And then start to build on it. When I was in university, I schooled in the UK, and we had loads of opportunities to start things within ourselves. And I see that here as well. That's what I love about Nigeria, the enterprising spirit of our youths. We have a young population. We have things on us that are there. My children, I have 3 children. My sons, they've started at least 6 businesses since they started going to all these classes to improve. There's so many things out there. It's all at the feet of your hands. So you all need to look at inwards, as the Pro-Vice Chancellor has just mentioned, and start groups. There's an environmental society here. If there isn't, come up together and put one together and start it. These are ways that you can start doing clubs, extracurricular clubs for youths, going into the community, starting a program. There are so many ways you can generate knowledge and even enterprise from all this. So it all starts with just being able to put heads together and think and come up with innovative ways and solutions within your university. Because once you start from there, that's already your testing ground. So when you graduate, you know that it's done. You've already done this before. It gives you the confidence and the experience. During your summer holidays, you build on this. I started working when I was 16. My parents, my mother especially, God bless her, blessed memory, she would never ever allow you sit down and say you are idle. As we say back in our own time, the idle mind is the devil's workshop. So this is the opportunity to use this time, technology, use it to your advantage. Going to the fourth question and the final question. How would Nigerian government balance legislation with all this? The National Council on Climate Change was birthed from the Climate Change Act of 2021, and which states the legislation is right in there. In terms of now, legislation that has now, since I took office in August, we've now made sure there's a proper framework that guides the carbon market, which is the opportunities that are available when you do clean jobs and go into climate-friendly projects. And so launching the National Carbon Market Framework, the NCMAF, that was the main legislation that sets things open. And as regulators, it was key that this is open to be able to allow the policy and the framework that would drive the investments from Nigeria. And so we are open for climate business. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope I've answered all your questions. And as I mentioned, go online. There's so much online now. There's so many courses, so many Coursera, there's so many U Academy. There's so many things online now that are all at your fingertips to be able to boost you. And we are here to support you at all times. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Please help me appreciate madam with a warm. You can do better than that. In my place, they will say, "E not easy." E easy? No, not be no. E easy, e not easy. E easy? You are still saying no. All right, madam. While you were answering those questions, with the kind permission of the chairman of Convocation Ceremony Committee brought this question. And when I read it, and I think it's also germane, you may want to entertain it in honor of the chairman of Convocation Committee. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll read it out. Your discussion focused on plants or tree planting for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Ruminants, animals like cows, goats, sheep, etc., contribute a lot to climate change. What is the plan of your council to mitigate greenhouse gas from ruminants? This is an excellent question, please. Thank you for this. Methane. We just launched, in fact, 3 frameworks to deal with this issue. 1, 2, our president has gracefully, about 2 years ago, a year ago, 2024 or 2025, launched a Ministry of Livestock just because of these issues. It's so important because ruminant animals, they contribute a lot of gases, and it's methane. It's a certain kind of gas that comes out from the cows and all these other animals. So what has the council done to mitigate this? I've just mentioned 2 things now. We've also now partnered with the Ministry of Petroleum Gas to be able to deal with this. And we're using satellite technology to be able to see where these animals are, have a plan of reducing the methane and mitigation efforts to reduce the methane coming from these ruminants. Partnering with the Ministry of Livestock, Ministry of Agric, and 3 other ministries to come up with a plan to be able to support these industries, to have a plan to reduce the mitigation. We've also worked with international donor agencies. Just last month, in March, I was in Ispra to celebrate the 250th anniversary. Ispra is in Italy, and that's where methane was actually first founded by a man called Adolfo, an Italian, 250 years ago, in a lake called Lake Maggiore. In that event that they celebrated, they called all DNAs to come together. So we all went there to see how the journey of methane has improved, but not so much enough. They brought books that this Adolfo had written on it. They took us to where the lake, where he found methane. They gave us all badges to show us witnessing the story of methane and how improvement of methane action is key. And that just shows you it's a global thing. We all have to work together to be able to work on mitigating these gases that come from this, because a lot of people forget. They think it's just CO2. But methane is actually more harmful. And so these are the things that I'm happy to, that you raise this question, but to let you know that it is at the forefront of the government. And the government is working hard to be able to work with the communities. And I think as the academia, these are where the subject matter students and lecturers need to start thinking of innovative ways to come up with mitigating, to support the legislature and legislation to be able to boost the economy so that we have a cohesive journey and a cohesive approach at targeting this. Thank you very much again for that.
Thank you very much. You can tell when the climate change is something that cuts across every sphere of life. Law, medicine, environmental science, sociology, everything. And that's so awesome. Please let me appreciate Madam once again. We are coasting home now. We have just 1 or 2 items left. But please, I need an answer to a question. When we leave this place, I need somebody to help me articulate a definition for protocol for 8-year-old child. Protocol. Now, I have an 8-year-old boy who followed me for anchoring, and while we're driving home, and he asked me, what is protocol? He didn't quite, situate well. That's okay, I will answer you when we get home. So as we're driving home, and he said, you know what? They call me Yomi Daddy at home. Yomi Daddy. Yomi Daddy, I think that protocol is one large stage that is very strong, that can carry everybody. When will I stand on protocol? Why? Because he had heard that everybody was standing on protocol. And today, everybody has been standing on protocol. And the boy has been asking me, when will I have the opportunity to stand on protocol? And I've not been able to explain to him what is protocol in such a way that he will understand it. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me put your hands together for the organizers of this program. Now, I want to believe that all of us are in agreement that Madam did very well today, right? If you believe so, please help me put your hands together. In recognition of a job well done, it is my singular honor and privilege to hand over the microphone, or in fact, invite our Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Governing Council to make a presentation of plaque and gift to Madam in recognition of our performance this afternoon. Please let me put your hands together for our Chairman as he makes his way to the microphone.
Thank you very much. Well, Professor Ejaro, please, can you come around? Because I want to, in addition to the plaque, I want us to agree that we are going to make her a visiting professor to your environment ministry or department. Is she a visitor? A visitor on carbon credits in particular. Yes. Okay, visiting lecturer. Yes. Have you agreed, ma?
Yes, accepted. Accepted.
Thank you very much. Then, secondly, you and you will nominate at the Senate. I will nominate at the council for our next convocation coming up in another 1 year or 10 months. She deserves an honorary award. Yes. So we will go and work on our different departments. By that time, we would have attracted at least $100,000 of carbon credits. No, it's possible. We have all the things we need. So we have agreed. Yes. Thank you very much. You can sit down. So on behalf of the council, the management, the senate, students, every committee in the University of Abuja, now Yakubu Gowon University, it's a privilege and honor to present to you this award. Today, 15th of April, 29th and 30th Combined Convocation Ceremony Award presented to Mrs. Omotenioye Majekodumi, Director General, National Council on Climate Change. As a guest lecturer on climate change and incoming visiting professor. Congratulations. In addition, we have this very expensive bag that is full of carbon credits. And we are hoping that by the time you are receiving your award, we'll have a whole house of credits, suitcases of credits. Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay. The university also has some plaques and gifts for our distinguished guests from GGNW, Dr. Abubakar Suleiman, and then Nigeria Agency for National Park Conservation. Sorry, you know. So I'll be inviting them one by one. From GGW, please come forward for your plaque. Thank you.
I'm sorry, it's a gift, not a plaque. But of course, the plaque is coming. On behalf of Yakubu Gowon University, formerly University of Abuja, please accept this gift and thank your principal for honoring our invitation. Thank you very much. Okay, on behalf of the university, Yakubu Gowon University, formerly University of Abuja, and the entire community, the Senate, Council, students, everybody, we appreciate the honor given us by your principal for asking you to represent him. Please let him know we appreciate the gesture. Thank you very much, and we also congratulate him on the work he's doing in our parks. Thank you so much.
On behalf of the Governing Council, Senate, management, staff, and students of the University of Abuja, now Yakubu Gowon University, we want to present this award to Professor Popova for your immense contribution towards youth empowerment and enlightenment in fintech, and of course, to humanity. Thank you very much.
All right. Like I told you that we are coasting home now. I am to inform you to make yourself available by 4 p.m. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be, something else. There's going to be convocation play by the Faculty of Arts, Faculty of Theater Arts, apologies, Department of Theater Arts of the Faculty of Arts, yes, by 4 p.m. So please, do well to come back by that time and enjoy yourself. The Vice Chancellor is going to be around, all the dignitaries are going to be around. So it's going to be another pleasant moment in the evening. And I'm also to tell our students to wait behind. Professor Popova will be teaching you a few things after this session. All right, is that okay? And Mr. Chairman, sir, most respectfully and humbly, I am to inform you that the tree planting exercise will still continue outside after this event, which is just less than 3 minutes. We'll be out of this place. So you'll be leading the personalities to go and continue the tree planting exercise. Thank you very much, sir. And then also, sir, after this program, before we go out, the dignitaries will have to sheet forward all of you. We have to take some pictures just here, away from this screen. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this moment, it gives me pleasure to invite to the microphone the Acting Registrar and Secretary to the Governing Council of the University, Malam Sambo Muhammad, for the vote of thanks. Please help me put your hands together for him.
The Chairman Governing Council, distinguished Senator Olaruwaju Teji Osho, our Vice Chancellor, Professor Hakim Babatunde Fawumi, our invited guest, our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. Mrs. Maje Kudumi, the bursar of the university, council member present, professors, deans, directors, graduates, students here present. Mine is to give a vote of thanks. I will start by sincerely appreciating and thanking the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council for his wisdom and foresight to invite this our distinguished guest speaker today. I could recall during the council discussion and deliberation when he mentioned the deliberation was on, and he mentioned our distinguished guest lecturer. And at the floor of council, everybody accepted. Sir, I want to appreciate you for your foresight to invite this lady to be with us today for this lecture. We thank you very much, sir, for your foresight on this issue. Then to our Vice Chancellor, sir, we sincerely thank you for all the support for the committee, Convocation Committee, and also wish to appreciate and thank the Convocation Committee Chairman, for the job well done so far. I advise that the tempo should be maintained. And for the guest lecturer, we sincerely appreciate on behalf of the council, the management, the senate, and the graduate, as well as the student, to thank and appreciate you for this wonderful lecture and for honoring our invitation. And we hope that next time, during the next convocation ceremony, you'll be here in another capacity to receive our honorary doctorate award degree. And for our invited guests, we thank you very much for honoring our invitation. We thank you once again. We wish to see you on Saturday for the final day of the convocation. Once again, we sincerely thank each and every one of you that attended the occasion here. We wish you a successful journey back to our respective destination. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, sir, I'm also to humbly and respectfully inform you that after the tree planting exercise, you are also to lead the dignitaries to the boardroom of the Faculty of Law for some refreshment. The ambience is better than this place, the air is better than this place, and you need to, receive some air conditioning. Thank you very much. At this moment, may we stand up to observe the national anthem as we close this program. Thank you.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear nation.